Hi everybody, welcome to Legends of South Bend. I'm Aaron Taylor. What we do here in Legends of South Bend is connect you, the fans, with the greatest players and coaches ever associated with Irish football. And this week, I have the pleasure of reconnecting with an old friend and one of the all-time greatest people and coaches in Notre Dame history, Coach Holtz. Coach, thank you for taking the time to let us tear your house up and come and sit down and do an interview.
Aaron, I'm really delighted to have you here, and I'm really flattered with your kind comments, and coming from an individual like you, I truly appreciate them.
Well, I appreciate that, Coach, and I appreciate you. And one of the things that really helped me when I was a kid at Notre Dame was the philosophy of what's important now. That's always something that you've gone by. Could you explain that and explain the role, how that's played for you?
Well, so many people have a wish list. I wish this had happened. I wish that would happen. I think you have to focus on what you want to accomplish in life. And if you ask yourself 25 times a day, what's important now in order to have that result? And as I would say to the players, we want to win a championship. Ask yourself 25 times a day, what's important now? You wake up in the morning, what's important now? Get out of bed. Oh, I never thought of that. What's important now? Eat breakfast. You need your strength. I want to be a champion. What's important now? Go to class, sit in the front row, take good notes. You're in the weight room. You want to win a championship. What's important now? Get stronger. Not because somebody's looking at you, not somebody's going to applaud you, give you an award. And when you're at practice, what's important now? To get better, no matter how tired you are. And when you're out Saturday night and there's booze and drugs and sex and heroin, you want to win a championship, what's important now? You better avoid that situation. So when you ask yourself what's important now, to evaluate the past, focus on the future, tell you what you have to do in the present.
Coach, and that thing has helped me so much. And what that meant for me was focus. It really was about drilling down what was important and was I willing to do the things necessary to be successful. So taking that forward right now for Coach Weiss and the 0-4 Irish, which are in probably as bad of a place as they've ever been, what's important now for the Irish?
Well, the one thing when you're in coaching, Aaron, and particularly at Notre Dame, having been there for 11 years, you don't ever want to offer advice to somebody else, you ought to do this, you ought to do that. I can only talk about what I've experienced or what I feel if I were in that situation, et cetera. And, you know, great football teams on offense start with great offensive lines. And we had a great we had a great offensive line coach in Joe Moore. I've been blessed with two great offensive line coaches in my career. Larry Bechtel, who coached in pros for years, was with me for about 10 years, and then Joe Moore. But I think it goes back to basic fundamentals and toughness and everybody understanding their role. When you talk about football, you have to talk about team, and it's just like life. Number one, we have to understand that we need each other. There's all kind of Hall of Fames. There's all kind. You ever seen a monument built to a team? But what a team enables you to do is accomplish something no individual can do, regardless how multi-talented he may be. Point number two, whatever your role is, you got to do that role to the best of your ability. You got to be held accountable for it. If you want to fail, you have that right to fail. You do not have the right to cause other people to fail because you don't want to cover kickoffs or whatever your role may be. Covering kickoffs, people say, well, I want to catch the ball. That's not your role. Whatever your role is, you must do it to the best of your ability because you cannot jeopardize our overall goal, which is to win. So everybody has to understand the role and be held accountable. I think there are too many people with society today that don't want to be held accountable. It's always somebody else's fault or this, that. And what I find, Aaron, when you blame somebody else for where you are, you're in essence saying somebody has to get me out of here. When you take and understand that you are wherever you are because of the choices you make, you're the one going to be responsible for getting yourself out. Notre Dame has talent. You cannot have talent in Notre Dame. You stick your head out of the kitchen door and give a holler, and you're going to get 11 athletes that can play. I went to Notre Dame '86. We had good talent, maybe as good a talent as we had in '88. They just didn't understand about everybody coming together. But it goes back to basic fundamentals: how to block, how to tackle, accepting your role, being held accountable, and have fun at Notre Dame. There's pressure on the football player at Notre Dame to live right in the dorm, as you know, the rectors, I mean. And there's pressure on you when you go off campus, you better conduct yourselves properly. There's pressure on you to go into the classroom because they don't cut corners for the athlete. And consequently, there's pressure on you to win. So when you go to practice, you have to be able to laugh. You have to be able to have fun. We had high pressure in practice, but yet there wasn't anything wrong with having fun, having laughs and things like that. But I think anything else, you go back to basic fundamentals of how to play the game, blocking, tackling, et cetera, and then holding people accountable.
And there was nobody better than doing that with you. It always started with fundamentals. Everybody, every time, everything we did, every practice, we emphasized fundamentals. Coach Holtz was the one of the best at that, keeping us accountable. At some point, those young team and those young players are going to have to look around and realize that they're the only guys in the room that can get it done and that they're enough. So stay tuned when we come back later on this week and hear more from Coach Holtz, from one of the greatest players and coaches ever associated with Irish football, and get some things that are going to be a little bit more helpful a little bit further down the road.